Hey guys, Scsi here. You can see my face mirror into the screen of the emu sampler. Yeah, today I'm going to show you what to do if you want to have your emu sampler speaking with your PC for transferring samples and yeah, editing and using the sampler on the screen of your PC, sort of like a VST editor, if that makes sense, right? So it's something really useful in my opinion. It took me some time to work it out, how to configure everything. One thing, this is for Windows 64 bits only. Sorry Mac guys, the thing is that on Mac you can actually use the editor, which is called Zoeos. We'll talk about this later. But to have the sample transfer, you need a Scsi card, which I'm not sure you can install it on Mac. That's simply all I'm saying. Anyway, let's go through all the steps that you need to do to have this thing working properly. So first thing you need to do, actually, I'm going to drop a link of this folder where basically you have all the files, drivers, and software that you need to use to have your emu working, communicating with your PC, all right? And you're just gonna keep this one down here for the time being. So first thing you need to do is to get the right hardware. You need a Scsi card. Now, the thing is that in the past I used to have Scsi card to do these things, but they were temperamental. It was awful, simply because the Scsi card from the past, they were designed for 32 bits operating system. Simply say there were no drivers anymore. You have to use unsigned drivers, and unsigned drivers brought a lot of issues. Like sometimes the sample would work, sometimes it wouldn't work. Transferring samples would work for a certain time. We would hang on the sampler. Sometimes the card would go missing. Lot of issues. You will spend more time trying to have this thing working than actually using the sampler, which is not good. So I literally purchased this card a few days ago, and is perfect because simply got his own drivers for 64 bits and it works flawlessly. So this card is LSI 203201E. You can find it for fairly cheap price on AliExpress, but you can find it on eBay as well. It's kind of like cheap. It's around 30-40 pounds. What is more expensive is actually the cable. You need this type of cable, which is VHD CI 68 pin, which is a small port, to Centronics 50, which is the big port that goes behind the emu sampler. So this one, I can find it for a fair price on AliExpress only. It is quite long one, like it is 1.8 meters, which is good. Then the next thing that you might need is this thing here. So this card is the connector here is a PCI 4X connector, which is something you can use on Mother PC. If your Mother PC have a PCI 16X slot, which is the one that normally you have for graphic card, you can still use this card. It's compatible, okay? But the issue is that if you have just, because for example my motherboard, I got two of these 16X slots, so I can use one for this purpose. Other motherboard, they might not have two of these slots. So in that case, you need to get a PCI 1X, which is this small plug here, to PCI 4X, 8X slot, which is this white part here. Something that you can find on Amazon, and yeah, even this one is kind of like cheap for 20 pounds. But that's something that you need if you don't have these big slot on your motherboard. But basically 1, 2, and eventually 3 are all the hardware requirements that you needed, okay? Now, next thing, this card is already installed on my computer, but the drivers is not installed yet. So I'm going to show you step to step what to do. The driver, of course, is into the into the folder for the everything folder, I'm gonna call it, all right? So we're going to Scsi controller here, update driver, browse my computer for drivers files. Let me pick from a list of available drivers, and now we're going to pick up as a device, storage controllers, next, have a disk, and browse, and basically this file here is the one which is in this folder, driver Scsi. This is the folder where I'm taking this this file from. Okay, so gonna select this one, open, okay, that's LSI adapter, blah, blah, Scsi. Next, we're gonna wait a few seconds, and now the driver should be installed. And yeah, we got our driver installed and communicated perfectly with our Windows. Next thing I'm going to turn on the sampler. We wait for loading properly. So we have our sampler. What I need to do into the device manager, scan for hardware change. We wait for a few seconds. And now you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 instances of the EMU sampler, right? If I go into my master, then setup, and then where is that? Scsi device ID 1. Now that's something I didn't test it yet, but I don't think I need to do this anymore, but I'm gonna do anyway. So basically what you have here is actually the instances of the sampler, right? This one at the top is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So my device ID is 1. What I need to do, that's some article that I read probably years ago that say to configure your sampler to communicate with your PC, you have to do this. I'm gonna do it anyway. As I said, it might not be worth to do it anymore with this card that now is working perfectly. But what you need to do is update driver. Simply go search automatically for drivers, and now the communication between your PC and there's the link between your PC and your sampler, if that makes sense. All right. And that's to configure the sampler, and we done that. Now, next thing I'm going to show you is actually the use of software. So there's 3 software that you can use with the sampler. You can use it at the same time as well. One is Propeller Recycle. Everyone, I think, knows about this software that allow you to transfer multiple samples at the same time. Then we got Zoeos, I don't know how to pronounce, but basically it's a editor, MIDI editor, so you can edit your patches and you can transfer a sample as well. I think that's the most important software. And luckily is Eoslink, which is basically Eoslink is kind of like you have the controls of your front panel of your EMU, but on your PC, if that makes sense. But yeah, once I open it, you see exactly what I mean. Is another one really handy. So we're going with Recycle first, and I'm going to show you what you need to do. So Recycle is down here. First thing, you have to run Recycle with administrator privilege. So you have to go compatibility, and select here, run this program as administrator. That's all you need to do. Now I'm going to open the where is that? The file location where basically there's Recycle, if that makes sense. So there's this file here, WinASP32DLL. Okay, I drag and drop this file from this folder, ASP for Zoeos and Recycle. Now, what is WinASP? A simple file that is a layer that allow you the communication between the software and the sample. You need to install these files into the folder of the software that you're going to use. All right, and there's 3 different options here. I think for Recycle I used the Ethernet one. Still, I didn't test this properly because back in the day when I was using the temperamental Scsi card, I have to use different WinASP files, if that makes sense. But one of these 3 is going to work. So you got the Acronis, the Ethernet, and the RATOC. Inside the RATOC, there are actually 2. These 2 are to WinASPI, they can still work with the software. And this has to be done for all the software. So it's to be done for Recycle, it's to be done for Zoeos, and the other one, which is called Eoslink, all right? Now, I think we're ready to go. We're going to open a Recycle, and I'm going to show you what you need to do. So, you go into Edit, Sampler Settings. I'm going to delete the sampler for now, okay? So the thing is that the first time you're going to open the Recycle, it will look exactly like this. There will be no no communication between Recycle and the sampler until you configure it, okay? So what you need to do, go into Sampler Setting and nothing more. If everything is working in terms of communication, what you need to do is find all and just waiting. First is going to look for MIDI sampler and is not going to find any. Then it will look for SMDI sampler, which is the one that basically allow you Scsi transfer, okay? So we just wait. So as you can see now, SMDI found it, yes. So now we have our sampler literally working with Recycle, and I'm going to show you. Keep an eye on the sampler window down here. So we're going to load a drum loop first, and let's resize to 1 bar, okay? So we're going like this. We set 1 bar, and now look how fast is the data transfer. So we're going like this, transmit, boom, done. Let's go into the samples. We got our guy, the kick, the hat, the snare, and so on. It's super handy, right? It's awesome. The only thing you need to pay attention, so let's have a look here. It should be a total of 8 samples. Let me have a look. Yeah, 8 samples. So the first empty slot is in the sample memory is going to be slot number 9, correct? So what we need to do now, I'm just going to pick up these bass sound, all right? So we're going to resize a bit, bear 1, it doesn't matter, just a single sample. Now we're going to transmit this one, and the start sample is simply the allocation of the sample memory. So we got the first 8 taken by the previous sample. We're just going to select 9, transmit. Obviously it takes us a bit more because it's a longer sample. Let's have a look if the sample now is there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we got, yeah, just press on addition, and we got our bass sample. So this is brilliant, and as I said, it's a super fast way to transfer your samples. Obviously there's obviously a magic when you sample directly into the EMU, but you know, if you want to transfer real fast a bunch of samples, especially for drums, definitely Recycle is the best tool to do this. Okay, now we go to have a look, discard all. We're going to have a look to Zoeos, which for me it's kind of like the winner in terms of software for EMU. So again, that's the only installation folders, right? So I have to explain you a couple of things to have Zoeos running. So the first one, you need to install. Anyway, in this folder there are all the instructions as well, so you can read the document. But first, you need to install this version of Java. It's an old version. It's totally legit. Do not worry about. So the second thing, because if you don't install Java, you're not gonna be able to install Zoeos because it's based on Java. All right. So, and again, we're going to Zoeos property. Same things. Always running as an administrator. I have this setting here, but again, it might be that I didn't test it yet. It might be that with this card, there's no need to run this program in compatible mode. Anyway, run this program as administrator, and we're going into the file location folder. And as you can see here, there's a WinASP as well. Remember, this is very important. Any software that you're going to use, you need to drag and drop WinASP files from this folder. This folder is here, okay? So, and now we can run Zoeos, and I'm going to show you why this thing is really, really cool. Okay, is loading. Perfect. So, it's basically loaded the sampler, if that makes sense. Now, the first time you open Zoeos, it's going to ask you for the serial, which is here. And very important, because that could be misleading, the serial is actually the whole text. So you have to include this Zoeos full, okay, to have the serial working. Now, the second thing that you need to do the first time you open Zoeos is to manage the devices. Simply say, sorry, not here, simply say you have to select your MIDI ports for that are connected to your EMU sampler. In my case, are these two. There's no really need to toggle off the other one, but I did it anyway. But you know, it's important that your port from your your MIDI ports from your EMU sampler are activated. So that's the other thing. The next thing, because the Scsi communication is working, you need to press here on SMDI. You should have a Windows like this. Now I'm just gonna decouple for the time being. So you should have something like this. What you need to do is just select the Scsi device, couple with MIDI device, press here, and yeah, now the communication between Zoeos and the sampler is working as well. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So let's pick up a chord sample. Let me see. That's one. I think that's not this. Let me see. Just looking for the right one, which, yeah, that's the one I was looking for. So, and that's already transferred. That's it. Let's have a look. It's a slot number 10. Boom. So you can literally pick up samples, Pro to Reese, and just drag and drop into this slot here. Let's have a look. 11. Yeah, that's bad. So we got all. So it's already amazing, because you can do the same thing with the recycle, but probably even faster in a way. As I say, the recycle is more for transferring drum loops, in my opinion. Now let's have a look a bit quickly to the editor. So preset. Now the thing is that if I select an untitled preset, it's going to load a multi-samples preset automatically, because yeah, there's many samples that are loaded. What I want to do, let's go with the erase and start from scratch. Okay, erase this one. We're going to I'm going to use these resamples, new voice. Let's have a listen. Yeah. Actually, let's move into preset mode. It's already mapped, which is great. You don't have to do that manually. And now let's have a quick look to the option that you have. Basically, not option. You have all the controls that you have on the EMU interface, which is great. I love the EMU interface. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes the high, sometimes the sampler. I'm planning to have the sampler a little bit far away from where I am now. From where it is now, and also having something like this, you know, the listening position is perfect. So I'm going to show you literally what you can do with this editor. So we go here, we double click, we go through the chords. Now there's some velocity connected to the amplitude. I don't want to have that. So we got these reeds with massive reeds already. Let's add a bit of chorus. Right click, you get these options. A bit of width. So then if you go into the main again, where you have your voice, you can easily duplicate the voice. You can group your voice, stuff that you do with the sampler basically. But let's go with a copy. So we created a copy of this one, and we're gonna detune a bit. Let's go with a bit of effects. I think my effects is bypassed for the time being. So we're going with let's use Canyon reverb, which is something really massive. Let's start it to send. Let's start to use the infamous emu filters, but I want to use this one. Obviously, you can go voice by voice, but I want to use this one on the group. So you can select either one or two, and you go into OpenG, which is open group. We go with let's go to the minimize. Let's go with the chord and filter envelope bipolar. Maximize. Too much decay, I don't like that. So let's go with let's try to use a high pass. Ooh. Let's go with the negative value then on this one. Let's go again with the envelope. So you get the idea. Literally is a perfect sound design tools. You can do everything that you do normally with your sampler, but like on a graphic interface on a PC. I find it quite handy. Again, I love the emu sampler interface, but you know, in the dark you can see the buttons, and it's not look good for your eyes to look at such a small screen as well. One more thing about these. So we go into the preset section, and simply said, you can rename your preset. Let's call it Reese high pass. All right, so we just go OK, and it's going to rename the it just, you can see it updated the name of the sampler as well, which is quite handy. To save the preset, you have to do it manually. There's another way to do it on the computer, I'll show you in a bit. Because these doesn't have the editor doesn't have any save option for that purpose, and on the editor you cannot edit samples. So actually you can manage the part in terms of sound design. You can manage the part that is relative to the presets, but not to the samples. All right, but I'm going to show you how to do that with the next software. We're gonna have a look at it. And the amazing thing is that we can have two Scsi communication software open at the same time. Now the next software is actually Eoslink. Again, it's here. Again, it's one of these things that properties you have to run this program as administrator always. Any of this software need to be run as administrator to have a Scsi communication. Again, you got a WinASP in here. Let's open Eoslink and let's see if it works together with Zoeos. So we got both now. Okay, so as you can see, Eoslink is nothing more than a copy of the front panel of your sampler. So in that case, for example, okay, let me put where is that? So let me put again a low pass filter on this one. So we go with it. A shorter envelope. Whoa. So now from this interface, I can go, which that's the real cool thing. Okay, so that's the sample that I'm using. Let's verify. Yeah, Pro 2 Reads. So I got my interface of the emu. I got my emu panel on the computer, if that makes sense, and I can use the mouse and the knob. It actually works. So what I can do, so you can hear it now is playing the sample only because I switch it to sample mode, and I can do all the edit options, edit settings that I do for the sampler. So for example, I don't know, let's go with edit. Let me see. Exit. You know what? We're just gonna probably it's easiest, one of the easiest thing to do. We're just gonna truncate the sample. So just to show you how the wheel works. So you select start, and you just move the wheel up and down, as you can see. You can even use the arrow if you want to go slowly, the arrow on your keyboard, but you can effectively move the wheel like I'm doing. Actually, left and right more than up and down, sorry. But even it's kind of like, yeah, left and right, it's faster in a way. Up and down is for more precise control. Then we go, yeah. So then we go with a end, all right? So with using the arrow, and now I'm moving the end of the sample down. Let's go slowly. Yeah, that's perfect. I'm just gonna make it super tight. So, okay, you can either click F6 or the mouse. So, yeah, and now you can hear that the sampler is super short. Now let's have a listen to the preset. It should sound short. Yeah. So you can imagine that's like kind of like, if basically what is happening here, if you want to use your emu sampler on a PC, you can actually do it using these two software. So you can drag drop samples, edit the samples, and use the preset management to edit your sound, which is absolutely amazing for me. Is an incredible time saver, but you know, when it comes for me, even in terms of sound design, it's much faster, but it's kind of like even better because, yeah, personally for me, I know, again, other people love it, but personally for me, looking too much at the screen of the emu sample will drive me crazy. And I got a lot of other scenes as well with a lot of lights. Yeah, sometimes it drives me mad. But yeah, I think that's it. I don't think there's nothing else to add. It's a bit of a long video, but it's worth. Just a quick overview again. Remember to buy the right hardware. That's basically mandatory. And again, I'm going to drop a link with this folder where you have installation for recycle, Eoslink that doesn't need installation, Zoeos with a Java, and the ASP and driver Scsi. That's all you need to have it running. You got the instructions here, and Zoeos installation notes, and you should have all you need to have this one running, and hopefully it should run fine on your machine as well. And yeah, I think that's it. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, enjoy your emu sample, guys. Okay, take care. Bye.